Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, the royals. Good morning, the kings and queens of the land. Good morning to all the liberated zones in Africa. I think we will have to add very soon. We will add Chad. The Chad is one of the countries in the Sahel. They have requested the French army to leave Chad. The French army has been in Chad for now 60 years. Since liberation, Chad was never liberated from the French army, but they have recently requested that the French army should vacate their land. Um, President Asim Goita of Mali, greetings in the liberated zone. Greetings, President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. Greetings and salute, President Tian of Niger. Greetings to President Tian of Niger. Uh, all of these leaders or the lions, they have liberated their motherland using the barrel of the gun. We salute them for being brave African, unexpected. French did not expect that Africans would revolt using the very same weapons that they have been using against Africa. Africans rising against their colonial masters. We salute them and we will continue to salute Chad as well if they want to join in the struggle against white people. Good morning to the liberated zone in South Africa, the KZN. Good morning under the leadership of the MK party. Good morning under the leadership of President Jacob Zuma, whom I want to declare today as the supreme leader of black people. He is the supreme leader of black people. He is the commander of the MK party, the supreme commander of the MK party, who has no history of violence. The commander of soldiers with no history of violence against anybody. The commander of soldiers who have never commanded his soldiers to kill anybody. The commander of soldiers who have never uh, instructed his soldiers to hate anybody. He's never instructed the MK soldiers, the time he was the leader. He has never instructed them to do any act of violence. President Zuma liberated South Africa, liberated KZN at the moment, KZN being the liberated zone in South Africa. We salute President Zuma for his efforts to liberate South Africa. This time, not through the barrel of the gun, but through peaceful methods, through peaceful ways, as he's always done. President Zuma have always preferred peace other than war. President Zuma stood in KZN during the violence, which South Africa has never seen before, and which South Africa hope to never see again. In KZN, President Zuma stood in the gap and ended the violence of black on black, uh, what we call the black and on black violence, which were agitated by white people, the Zulus against each other, the tribes against each other, the families against each other. President Zuma coming into KwaZulu Natal, standing in the gap, raising his hands uh, up high, calling for peace. The only commander in the world, the supreme leader of black people, who've never commanded his armies to commit any act of violence, but who has at all times opted for peace. Before I go deeper into discussion, my name is Mnguni Mkonto, and this is the Royal Opinion. Click the like button and subscribe. If you are here for the first time, click the like button and subscribe. Today we are discussing the MK Party anniversary celebration, because they're celebrating their anniversary today, meaning the first year of their existence, the first year of the existence of the MK Party today getting celebrated. Uh, Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining, Mr. Victor Shongwe. Greetings, liberated minds of the Royal Opinion. Greetings, greetings, Mr. Shongwe. Greetings to all those who are liberated in the mind. Greetings to all those who can listen to such kind of provocative kind of analysis, which is based in reality, not based in fiction, and based on evidence. Political analysis which is based in reality, not in fiction, and which is based in thank you very much, Nkosana Fulani, for your greetings to the royal family. I'm marking the register. All roads lead to Fosloras Stadium today. Grow MK Party, grow. Today, MK Party celebrating one of the series of events that are going to take place in celebrating the first year anniversary of the MK Party. The MK Party sounds like a very old party. Um, it has been trending. If we talk about trending online, it has been trending since 16 December 2023. There has never been anything trending other than MK Party up to today. As we speak, still the MK Party is the only party which is trending, is the only party which is making the difference, and is the only party which is focused into campaigning for 2026 election, and actually making an impact in the life of black people in South Africa. Uh, Victor Dihahoyane says, Gwaza Mkonto. Thank you, Victor. Thank you for joining as well. Everybody else, mark your register, click the like button and subscribe. If you're coming for the first time, mark the register. We're talking about the MK Party. We're talking about also what the EFF leader talks about the MK Party, his fight against the MK Party. He's already declared the MK Party as his biggest and immediate enemy, not the white monopoly capital. The EFF leader declared MK party as the biggest and immediate enemy who needs to be fought in everywhere they appear. The MK party saying, uh, declaring that they are easy. We're not coming to fight against the EFF. So before I dive deeper into the analysis of the first year anniversary of the MK party, let me first play the, because the MK party have a policy that says the MK members are not allowed to uh, respond to anyone who insults them. MK members are not allowed to respond in insults, not necessarily to respond. They are not allowed to respond in insults to anyone who insults them. But however, we will expose Julius Malema for who he is without insulting him. We will just show exactly what he does and where he comes from and what is the reason. Because other people have labeled him now as a crazy person. Other people have labeled him as somebody who is in drugs. Other people have labeled him as somebody who smoked too much, and other people have said he's now a crazy, he's gone crazy because of the issues about what happened about the leaders who left the EFF. All of those issues, I say it's not true. Julius Malema is not in drugs. Julius Malema um, is not crazy, and Julius Malema is sober. The only thing, he is a sellout who is been caught naked. The emperor is naked now. He is a sellout politician. I've been talking about Julius Malema, that he's a sellout politician a long time ago. Before he is exposed, a lot of people have been insulting me and a lot of EFF members have been hailing insults on me when I was exposing their leader. And the reason I expose the EFF, it's because of the most important reason, the unity of black people. The EFF have got a lot of people in their membership. The EFF, they have a lot of people in their membership, a lot of black people in their membership. Those black people, there are other, there are a lot of them who are genuine about fighting against white people and wanting to liberate black people. But most of them are misled by these scrupulous characters like Julius Malema. So we've got a duty to expose these scrupulous characters. Whenever they appear, we've got a duty to expose them. So that black people, those who are serious about fighting for the freedom of the black men in South Africa, would actually realize who they are, and then they will act uh, in accordance with their conscience. So the reason I expose the EFF is for anybody to act according to their conscience. The revolution will not be televised. So goes the saying. It's unfolding right in our eyes and causing upset stomach on both the right WMC. I won't interpret that. It's dangerous for me to interpret. And the left EFF. Anything in common between the two? It's Mr. Victor Shongwe. Thank you, Mr. Victor Shongwe, for joining. Everybody mark the register, send a message, tell us what is your opinion. Tell us what is your opinion about the MK party, what is your opinion about the EFF. But let me share, because I wanted to share something. I wanted to share this video, and let's hear from Julius Malema when he actually hails the insults on President Jacob Zuma and the EFF and the MK party.
The hard work, we will defeat them. And ntho ya politiki a e batle motho wa fela pelo. You must fight very hard and fight consistently. You must not be demoralized. You must continue to fight, because it is not our fight. It is a generational fight. We are laying a foundation for a generation to come. So let's make sure that we isolate all the enemy agents and infiltrators in the EFF. Ha motho a ka rabolela wa kwa o ka re language ya ona e na le bo MK ka mo o tsebo re tsotsishi. Those are the people we don't want amongst us. So people say, why would Malema declare MK as an enemy? Anyone who wants to kill the EFF is an enemy. I don't care whether you are black or white. As long as your agenda is to kill the EFF, you are the enemy. They say, oh, Malema says we must support Chidima, but we must not support Zuma. Chidima never wanted to kill EFF. Zuma wants to kill the EFF. That's why we must not support him. That is the difference. Anyone who recruits from amongst.
Let's remember, President Zuma has never said he wanted to kill the EFF or to destroy the EFF. President Zuma have called for the unity of black people. That's what he's calling for. He's even calling for cooperation with the EFF, the Economic Freedom Fighters. He's even refusing to respond to fights invitation against any black organization, because his aim is to unite black people. So the issue of saying that President Zuma wants to destroy the EFF, it has to do with the propaganda of actually where he is at the moment. I will explain where he is. I just wanted to clarify that, so that he's not crazy, this guy.
Anyone who wants to kill this organization is the enemy of the people. Only the EFF can unite Africans in South Africa, in Africa, and in the diaspora. There is no any other organization that can destroy the EFF. EFF Kiona Ele1. Yeto Tlatang FNP Stadium. Sa pupuma sa Africans over United Kaika Renarva United go FNP. That is a practical step of uniting our people. Today there is EFF Namibia, there is EFF Zimbabwe, there is EFF Kenya.
Practical step for uniting black people, taking them to a stadium. He says that is a practical step for uniting black people. Let me talk about what is needed for the stadium to be full. What is needed, the resources that are needed is half of the people are already available. Half of the people are those who are on Nyaupe here in the streets of Gauteng. Half of the population of those people, the population of those people can actually push to a certain extent to achieve those numbers. So what is needed is that population plus the EFF staunch membership which are already on the branches, which are benefiting on the branches, and the money from white people to pay for the t-shirts that you're going to distribute to those homeless people who are looking forward to receive the t-shirts in the rally. That's it. Um, that's basically what is needed, and the money which is needed for buying food, you just need to get the money from white people needed to buy food for the hungry masses which will be attending the rally. That is what is needed. It has got nothing to do with black unity. That is a lack of wisdom from Mr. Malema to talk like that.
Because the EFF has multiplied all over African continent. How do you say you want to unite Africans by destroying an organization that already exists beyond the borders of South Africa? That is a twisted logic. We must never fall into that trap. This organization has got regional offices, has got provincial offices, national office. It has got a solid machinery, highly grounded all over South Africa. The vote tja rena tja EFF a di tswe Limpopo fela, di tswa everywhere. Unlike ba o kry-a di vote tja maZulu Natala fela, ba fetsa ba claima or no, they are a national party. They are IFP light. They are
First, his statement is very dangerous. That statement that is saying is very sober and is very alive to that statement. He's saying MK party ba kry-ile di vote tsa maZulu. That statement has got a little an undertone of hate. He's creating hatred between uh, Zulu people and the people who are, because he knows there's already the system have already created divisions between the people who speak different languages in South Africa. So he knows exactly that that area is easy to agitate people on. Uh, the tribal card, it's easy to agitate people to get to fight. So basically, what he wants to do, what he wants to achieve, is to agitate people for violence against each other, violence against black people. That's what he aimed to achieve. Uh, he's highly intelligent in his speech. He's very technical in his speech when he talks, because he knows exactly what he wants to achieve. He's not crazy, he's not under drugs, um and he's not confused. He wants to agitate black people to fight against each other. That's what he wants to achieve.
not a national organization. They exist and get their votes in KZN. We can organize a rally in KZN. They will never organize a rally in Malamulela. They will never organize a rally anywhere outside KZN because they are a regional party. How can a regional party destroy a national organization? Why do you allow a smaller organization of an old man to destroy the EFF? Let us not allow this old man to destroy the EFF. That old man, we defeated him before. We brought him here in this constitutional court and we said pay back the money, and he paid back the money. He has been forgiven us for that. Let us, all the cases we won against Jacob Zuma, He never paid the legal fees. Zuma is owing us the legal fees. We've got an order that he must pay us our money because we're defeating him in court. Now he has not complied with that order of paying our money. We just instructed our lawyer to go and attach Nkandla so that the man pays back our money. We want our money that Zuma owes us from here, this constitutional court and the high court in Pretoria, everywhere where we've been winning against Zuma. They said he must pay our legal fees. He never paid our legal fees. He wants to play dirty. Bring it on. Give us our money tomorrow. Otherwise, you are attaching gun. Comrades, we are not going to play nice with people who are playing rough with us. We are not in a church here. People cannot fight us. And in exchange, you say we must give them roses. We are not going to offer the other side. You hit this side, I hit back. I don't hit the other side. And we will never allow a situation where we are made pushovers here by political non-entities who know nothing about the groundwork. The fight is on. What is the fight about? It's the fight to defend the soul of the EFF. It's the fight to defend the unity of the EFF. I hear here people are talking about Dr. Ndlozi. Dr. Ndlozi is a member of the EFF. He's a leader of the EFF. And there is no any organization that can claim him except the EFF. So you must not listen to me. Ya batho ba o bola ke byala ba bolela byale ba dilo tsa EFF botsa rena di-leadera tsa EFF re tla o botsa gore Ndlozi ke membera ya EFF o renewile membership wa hae is in the membership system of the EFF. They think they can divide this organization. They will never divide this organization. We are one thing, marching into the NPA as a collective of leadership that is united more than ever before to defend our own movement. So let's go down and work very hard and tell our people the EFF is growing all over South Africa. I said to you,
Yeah, so let me explain why Julius Malema talks like this. I've been saying this for very long. I have been saying that first, Julius Malema belongs to the Democratic Alliance. I have basically said the EFF and the Democratic Alliance are basically the same organization representing the same person a long time ago. And when they recently, I have said that the EFF was outside the GNU. The reason the EFF was outside the GNU was to cause confusion to black people so that other black people are not aware which organization can represent them. To cause confusion that there's another alternative outside the MK party which can liberate black people, which is the EFF. So the reason he was kept out of the GNU is the fact that they wanted him to continue outside the GNU, holding that membership, that radical membership that would automatically or preferably join the MK party. Uh, so he wanted to hold that membership outside the GNU, pretending like he's opposed to Ramaphosa and opposed to Helen Zille. So, but that has failed. The EFF has lost members and has lost leaders subsequently after the elections. And I said maybe some few months ago that the EFF was going to join the GNU because now the GNU needs the EFF more than any other organization. The ANC can no longer save the GNU. The black people in the ANC are no longer enough because a lot of black people have moved to the MK party. So the MK party is a tsunami. So the black people who are in the ANC are no longer enough to keep the GNU stable. The white people are desperately looking for more black people who has to agree with the GNU or understand the GNU. And they need a strategy that would fight or discredit President Jacob Zuma. So now, instead of taking the EFF and putting it into the GNU, they have decided to adopt a different strategy, a strategy that the EFF should take an anti-black posture, but pretending like they are black, causing havoc into black people, creating violence against black people, uh, creating tensions among black people, to cause violence among black people. He says he declares the MK party. He declares the MK party as his greatest enemy, not the white monopoly capital anymore. He declares the MK party, whom he says is a progressive party, but he declared the progressive party according to his declaration that it's the progressive party that is actually working with in the progressive caucus. It's his greatest enemy. The progressive caucus member is his biggest enemy, not Stellenbosch anymore. Now he's focused on the MK party. And the reason he says that is because white people have been thriving in causing division among black people. The SABC wants to cover this division between the MK party and the EFF. Uh, let me share the MK party's response to Malema's insults.
Disciplined party, and a party that is driven by political content rather than theatrics, So we're not going to go into that space of people provoking the party or even its members for political grandstanding. So our point is that we have postured ourselves as a party that must provide alternative to our people. We are focused on the task of transforming South Africa and making South Africa a better place. So any other thing in that space, we are not coming. Aziz.
Yes, I did explain this, Lunga. Look, as far as I'm concerned, well, fortunately, I don't know, I've not seen any insults directed at me, but any insult directed at anyone is the same as one directed at me. Where when I grew up in the struggle, we said an injury to one is an injury to all, So our position is very clear. It's in the Constitution. It's not even what we're articulating here is in the Constitution of the MK party. Now, and that Constitution says you will not be attacking other political formations, even under provocation. So, in fact, the more you provoke us, the more quiet we're going to be. That's going to be the order of the day. The judge is not is not us. The church is the people of South Africa. When the people of South Africa go to the polls, they will decide whether they want to deal with those who are insulting or those who are insulted, as it were. Yeah. And you know, and that position, by the way, is not a position that is taken out of cowardice. I must make that very clear. It's not a position that is taken out of cowardice. It is a position that is taken out of political maturity. For 400 years, our people were defeated because they were divided. The enemy, since they arrived here in 1652, knew that the way to deal with the people of this country is to divide them. And for the past 400 years, that they've been doing that in various forms, either by fighting us in so-called tribal formations, up to more recently when they formed homelands, and the so-called black-on-black violence that I spoke about of the 80s. All those were forms of dividing our people to ensure our perpetual oppression. So we're not going to do that. It's hashtag Andizi, or MK says hashtag Andizi, to repeating the same mistakes of the past centuries. And as I say, those of us who witnessed some of these things, can remember right here where we are, where people were being butchered and killed. There are children, if you walk around here, who have no parents because of that. So we're not going to, we're not available for insults. We're available to be insulted, but not to dish out insults. All right. Now,
The MK party saying we are available to be insulted. We are not available to dish out insult. This is a policy of the MK party, which comes from the supreme leader of black people, President Jacob Zuma, who's got experience, who is not, by the way, a coward. He's a warrior. He's a soldier. He's not afraid of war, though he prefers peace. But it's not like he's afraid of fighting. He's not afraid of prison. He's not afraid of anything that the white system can bring. The white system have been thriving in Africa through the violence that were strategically what we call motivated by the system among black people to ensure that the black people remains divided. This is the strategy which they still employ today, and people like Julius Malema still exist to bridge the gap that would create violence among black people in South Africa. So this time around, the system being disparate, uh, looking for somebody who is going to bridge the gap. Let me share another one, because people don't believe when we talk about Julius Malema being a sellout. Let's hear Ellen Zille, what she says about the EFF.
Political opponent like Helen Zille sees the EFF's power and potential. Why don't you?
Well, when all the clutter and the dust in South African politics settles, South Africans will see that the real choice about the future of South Africa is between the EFF on the one side and the DA on the other side.
So Ellen Zille says, I wanted to share that. Ellen Zille says, when all the political dust has settled, meaning when they are done with the MK party, when they are done to infiltrate the MK party, people will only have to vote between the EFF and the Democratic Alliance. It's Helen Zille saying the EFF is genuine about what they are saying. So the EFF and the DA are the two genuine organizations in South Africa. Ellen Zille praising the DA and the economic freedom fighters, saying the EFF is a good representative of black people. If you hear that from a white person like Ellen Zille, you should be really be afraid of people like Julius Malema. You should run for your life because these people are not playing games. So it tells you who Julius is and where his loyalty lies, and how far he can go to impress his masters. Uh, Julius Malema have said he's called for killing of the Zamazamas in the those which are trapped in the mines. He called for them to be killed, calling for another Marikana. Remember the people who were killed in Marikana. Police said they had guns against. They were displaying guns against the state. That's what they said. Julius Malema saying the same thing, that if they display guns against the state, go and kill all of them. Around 4,500 people are underground, estimated underground in that shaft in the northwest, in that mine. Julius Malema suggesting that they should all be exterminated. A very dangerous leader of black people. Some of the people who are there are those who are just running away from the police, afraid of being deported to their countries where they are suffering. Some are even South Africans who've been kidnapped, or even foreigners who've been kidnapped into that spaces by bad people who are in there, some other bad people that are in there. So you're talking about exterminating all of those people, showing your colors, exactly where he belongs, calling for violence against black people. He's never called for any violence against white people. That's why they love him. So we will expose Julius Malema for what he is, and we've got a duty to do that because there's a lot of black people who are confused about him. So those who are confused about him should hear from us that don't be confused about the EFF and Julius Malema. They belong to the white organizations and they want to fuel violence against black people. That is their duty. At the moment, they are disparate. White people are disparate. They don't know what to do to stop the MK party. So the best thing that they know is to create violence against black people. And they prefer black on black violence because there they don't have to do anything. They just have to stand and watch while we fight each other, kill each other, and they will come as peacemakers, as people who are civil, um, uh, and give uh, as a peacemaker to barbaric people who are fighting. President Zuma, who is the supreme leader of the MK party, the supreme leader of black people in Africa and in the world, says the only commander in the world who is never called for violence against any person, says the MK members should not respond to any insults hailed on them by anybody, whether a member of the community, whether a member of another organization, or whether an organization of white people. He says no response to insults, we only respond to debate which will give progress to black people. The supreme leader of black people, President Jacob Zuma, I think he should be given the honor of uh, being above the kings. He should be given the honor of being above the kingdoms, because he is fighting for the restoration of the kingdoms of black people, the restoration of the kingdoms of black people. Is fighting against the white system, not for his political gain, but to save the kingdoms of black people, the culture, for the total liberation of black people from slavery, colonialism. Total liberation meaning liberating our culture, liberating our education, liberating our economy, liberating our mind, liberating our food, liberating our lifestyle. Total liberation. Everything that has to do with liberation. The supreme leader of black people, President Jacob Zuma, who is liberated KZN at the moment, will continue to mobilize. Today, having the rally to celebrate the first year anniversary of the MK party in Fosloras. This is a series of events which will continue to happen. I mean, even after the celebration will continue to happen, because at the end of the day, the MK party will continue to go around to preach its message, not message of violence, but message of peace and message of unity among black people, or message of unity among all people who want the world to progress without violence and without discrimination. Mr. Shong was saying during an interview in Stellenbosch, CIC said the EFF was formed to prevent black people from attacking suburbs where the elites resides, including himself. The CIC have clearly said that the reason for the formation of the EFF was to bridge the gap, because the black people must feel like there's somebody who represent them. Black people who are in suffering have to feel like they are represented, because if the EFF does not exist, then there will be an unled revolution which will destroy what white people have. So there has to be somebody who is going to keep control of these black people, giving them hope that relax. There's somebody who is representing you, and his name is the EFF. It's just that he has embarked in a long-term project of liberating black people. So relax, because the EFF is in a long-term project to liberate black people. So while black people are relaxed, the white people continues to loot the resources. The black people uh, uh, continue to the life of the black people continue to deteriorate. Systematically, the system has created a massive displacement of women in their homes. When we talk about massive displacement, we talk about single moms who are created by the system. The single moms are created by the system, so that this is purposefully created so that when there's no father figure in the family, the children are vulnerable to drugs and the children are vulnerable to become gays because they are female orientated. And the children will not be brave enough to revolt against the system. So the children, more of those kids, it's either they become so fearful, they become like women, they want, or they become extremists, they become drug addicts. The children who grows from dysfunctional families which are encouraged by the system, uh, that's how the Nyaupe people are created in the streets, and that's how the movement of this, the gay movement is created in South Africa. And that's how the suffering of black women is perpetuated in South Africa, because that perpetuates the suffering of black people. The war, which is encouraged between a woman and a man, the man feeling that the women are basically the one favored by the system, while there's not even a single woman, there's not even a single woman who has been killed uh, by his husband because the government gave him tenders. Not even a single woman. The violence are always perpetuated against those who are vulnerable, have got nothing to earn. Meaning, if women can be given more opportunities, there will be less violence against women. But women are not given opportunities, so there's more violence against them because they are vulnerable. They are economically vulnerable. Women are supposed to be economically empowered so that they not economically vulnerable against men, because automatically they are already in strength, they are vulnerable against physical strength, is vulnerable against men. The anonymity which is created between men and women by the system is terrible. Total liberation cannot be achieved using the present constitution. MK unapologetic and unapologetically declares that the constitution must be changed. All other parties support the oppressive constitution. The EFF support the oppressive constitution. The EFF support the constitution that favors the minority. It says it does not like the constitution of the majority, or what they term the majoritarian system. They call it the majoritarian system. They say the majority is wrong sometimes, and then when the majority is wrong, it must be corrected by the minority. When the majority is wrong, the minority must correct it. Like they say, the majority rule when they want, but when the majority rules, they say the majority is wrong, it must be corrected. How can you say the majority rule if you cannot allow the majority to make final decision? How can you say majority rule if they don't have a say in the final decision? Somebody else has got a say in the final decision. So there's no rule, there's no majority rule in South Africa. It's only the minority rule to the majority through the system. Malema said Victor Diha, I'm not sure how to pronounce this surname. I'm so sorry, Victor. Very sorry. I'm not sure how to pronounce your surname. Malema said elections were free even if his party was robbed. His party was robbed, and he knows it's not only his party which was robbed the election. His party was also given some. I actually heard him the other day when he was saying he was shocked the other year when he got high result in KwaZulu Natal, and when he wanted to question the result which were robbed in Alexandra, they told him that, do you have a constituency in KwaZulu Natal that you can get so much votes? They got about 250,000 votes in KZN in the other elections, I think. So they questioned him if he knows about those elections, meaning they were votes were allocated even in those in those elections. So he knows the dynamics that we actually allocate votes to each other. So he does not mind what is allocated, because as long as he form part of what the people who are still eating, he is fine. Feel like somebody is representing them, and the EFF is playing that role. Yes, the EFF is just playing the role of making people feel like somebody is representing them. They are not representing black people. Their aim is not to represent black people. Their aim is just to stand in the gap, waste black people's time, make them think that the EFF is there to represent them. Continue to come up with programs, follow useless programs. Um, Julius Malema was arrested. Was went to court for shooting a toy gun. That's what he said, for shooting a toy gun in a rally, which is childish. Not for expropriation of land without compensation, not for anything that has to do with the policies of the EFF. The other court issue where he went to court for for anger management issues, where he was fighting a security guy in a funeral, wanting to be dramatic. Him and Mbuiseni Lozi getting dramatic just for people to have the theater, just to waste our time, going to court, making him relevant to people, while what he's fighting for has got no relevancy to black people. I mean, when you go to court, what are you popularizing? When you go to court for the uh, clapping of somebody for violence. So he's not representing black people, he's there to bridge the gap, to pretend like there's somebody representing the black child, while there's nobody. He's a slave trader, we can call him. He's a house Igro. Let's call him Igro, because if I use the right word, they ban the video. He's a house Igro who has been exposed. A house Igro who's been exposed in South Africa. His politics will not go anywhere. So I'm just exposing him so that anybody else who still believe in him can learn from this expose about the aim of the EFF and the purpose of the EFF, what they aim to achieve about insulting the MK members. They aim to achieve violence, black on black violence, a strategy which has been adopted by white people. Since Jan van Riebeeck arrived in South Africa, they have been creating environment of wars against each other. The uh, the attitude, the attitude of the smash and grab attitude. The smash and grab attitude came with the white people. The smash and what I call the smash and grab attitude, the supreme leaders which were created by the apartheid system, went on the displacement, mass displacement of black people. The reason why the kingdoms were fighting against each other, it was to displace masses of black people so that the white people can actually be able to grab their land. This was the strategy that they have adopted. The creation of the supreme kingdoms, super kingdoms. Every family had was a kingdom. Every family had their leader, had their king, their own king. The colonization of families into one kingdom was created by the smash and grab attitude of the white people in South Africa, creating violence among black people. I know some videos in Swane where some of us were party agents and we reported situations of vote rigged, and both regional and the national officials of the EFF were made aware, but they did not do anything. They will not do anything because they are not representing black people. They are not representing you. They are representing white people. They were going to do something if it was affecting black people. Now Malema is acting against the MK party because the white people need him. Now they've instructed him that go and call for violence against black people, go and cause havoc against black people so that we are able to win and govern, so that we are able to conquer the MK party. So they needed another voice which will add into the agitation of black people against each other. And Malema is their perfect man because there's a lot of people who followed him blindly, who would love to follow him blindly like that. There's a lot of people who get agitated and who would insult you for no apparent reason, or for just what I'm doing, or for making them aware of the situation, what is happening. They would just hail insults. Even in this video, I can tell you, I can expect some insults from other uh, those are called crazy people. Malema is not crazy. Malema is just a dangerous leader, evil in his nature, dangerous and evil, who does not care about life, who only cares about his pocket and the people who stay with in Stellenbosch and in Sandton, the people who take care of his pockets. The reason the leadership of the AFF failed to build a school as they promised that they wanted to build a school is the fact that white people would not build a school for black children. They don't want, that's not a priority. They will not build a school for which will teach black people about their mainly about their origin, or which will teach black people about socialism. They will not do that because they don't want to sponsor you to fail capitalism, to bring ideas which will fail capitalism. So his school was not sponsored by white people. He thought white people were going to sponsor him to build a school. So it was not sponsored by white people. It needed the EFF to actually uh, fundraise in a different manner. So that's why they failed to build a school, because the white people that he was trusting that they were going to fund them, they can't find such a project. It's funding, giving you money against yourself. So Julius Malema is a dangerous leader of black people. He must be exposed for what he is, and black people should know him for what he is. He's a sellout, he's a slave trader. He goes and negotiate for his space in the table of the master using the numbers of black people that he has. Black people for him are just numbers. The family structure of the black man has been destroyed and turned into just being a factory to produce human beings, which will be handed over to the system. Julius Malema is one of the people uh, uh, who encourages the black on black violence. But today we will hear from the supreme leader of black people, the peace lover, the one who brought peace in South Africa by negotiating in the most dangerous province in South Africa, the KZN, the bravest people who live there, negotiating for peace uh, among them until they understood what they wanted to achieve. Until there was peace in KZN, there wouldn't be a proper South Africa. It wouldn't happen. South Africa would not happen had it before President Zuma's negotiating skills and his love for peace and black people. President Zuma has got no obligation to liberate black people, but he opted to in his old age because there's nobody who can stand in the gap. I hear he's supporting parties outside. Those parties are funded by the same people. He's funded by the same people. He's supporting the Democratic Alliance. At some stage, let us remember that it's at some stage, Julius Malema gave the Democratic Alliance his vote for the Democratic Alliance to govern the municipalities. It's not a small thing. It's a serious thing for a black party which says the Democratic Alliance is their biggest enemy. So when you contest against them and you win election and then you take the votes and give it to them, it's actually what they do, going to sell black people in the table of the master, uh, getting money, getting kickbacks, while the Democratic Alliance continue to implement its policies on black people. The Democratic Alliance continue to protect their ill-gotten wealth, uh, given opportunity by the economic freedom fighters. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining, and thank you very much to the Supreme Leader of the people, President Jacob Zuma, for liberating black people. We will end the live stream at this moment. Highly appreciated and much love for all the royals. Click the like button and subscribe if you are coming here for the first time.